Presiding Chancellor, graduands, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're delighted to welcome as guest speaker Professor Johanna Wyn from the Melbourne Graduate School of Education. Professor Wyn is a Redmond Barry Distinguished Professor in the school's Youth Research Centre. She is a Fellow of the Academy of Social Sciences Australia and the Academy of Social Sciences in the UK. Johanna's work focuses on young people's transitions and the knowledge and skills needed by professionals who work with young people. Her books include Young People Making It Work and Youth and Generation, Rethinking Change and Inequality in the Lives of Young People. She presently leads a longitudinal research program titled Life Patterns, supported by the Australian Research Council. Johanna's research focuses on the ways young people navigate their lives in a changing world, with an emphasis on transition, gender, well-being, and inequality. Her work recognises that young people are active citizens, cultural creators, and active agents in their own learning and well-being. It is such a pleasure to call on Johanna to speak today. Please welcome Professor Johanna Wyn.
Thank you, Chancellor, graduands, parents, and friends and colleagues. I am extremely honoured to pay tribute to the achievements of our graduands today. Every degree earned is a triumph of inspiration, perspiration, and determination. Graduands, graduation is also a product of your faith in yourselves and the faith of your families, your friends, and your lecturers in you. Over many years of working with undergraduate and postgraduate students in the Melbourne Graduate School of Education, I have learned what a huge privilege it is to be part of our students' achievement of their educational goals. Each person's educational journey is different, and it is often those who have struggled the most that are the most inspirational. But today I would like to share some observations as a researcher who has tracked the journeys of 2 generations of young Australians through their post-school years. I lead the Youth Research Centre's Life Patterns longitudinal research program, which has followed school leavers in 1991. Yes, that means they are now in their 40s, and school leavers in 2005, who are now aged 28 to 29. I have followed them in real time. These 2 cohorts correspond with the generations known as Generation X and Generation Y, or Millennials as they are sometimes called. The study focuses on education and work experiences and the ways that these experiences influence and are influenced by well-being and relationships. And tonight, I want to share just a few insights from this study that may be of interest to you. We don't have a crystal ball to tell us what the future will be like, but we do know that the environment in which we are living, learning and working is changing quite rapidly. Although we can't foretell the future, we can learn from the recent past. Young people are the first to engage with new developments. They have little choice, and in so doing, they shape their own and our futures. Longitudinal research about young people can tell us a lot about how they respond to new situations and conditions, ones that the previous generation have not experienced. For Gen Y and subsequent generations, this includes time now spent in education when a majority are juggling study and work over an extended period. They're facing the trend towards precarious work, that is, short-term, part-time contract work, flexible and non-standard hours. And of course, they are facing the challenge of the ubiquity of social media. Despite the challenges they face daily with amazing resilience, often, young people do get a lot of bad press, I am really sad to say. Generation Y, those who are now in their late 20s, are routinely portrayed as narcissistic and self-obsessed, the me generation, also known as kippers, kids in parents' pockets eroding retirement savings. But stereotypes, while they may draw on a tiny grain of truth, are always inaccurate, and they can be very damaging. The Life Patterns longitudinal research shows that the reality is very different. So let me expand just a little bit on that. In the period between 2005 and 2016, when Generation Y left school, very little changed in their top priorities in life. They placed a high priority on having a special relationship with someone, having financial security, and caring and providing for a family. The life goal of living up to ethical principles gained increasing importance over that time, and others, such as to make a lot of money and to achieve a position of influence, lessened in importance. So to achieve these life goals, Gen Y have had to be resourceful, flexible, and resilient. Let me share just one story from our study to illustrate this. Rebecca, which is not her real name, it's a pseudonym. Rebecca went straight on to tertiary education after completing secondary school. In 2006, taking up studies in physiotherapy. However, a year later, she discontinued the course, saying that she was disappointed in it. She then completed a Bachelor of Arts degree at a different university, majoring in psychology, combining full-time study with part-time work as a sales assistant. She was still living with her parents in Melbourne, and at age 22, she said she would have liked to move out, but didn't think she could afford to. And she felt a little bit overwhelmed by the insecurity of her future. Perhaps some of you can relate to this story a little bit. In 2012, Rebecca, now aged 24, went back to study and started a Master in Speech Pathology, which she felt would open up a career path that she wanted. By the age of 25, in 2013, she had finished her master's degree and she had moved to a regional area to take up a job as a paediatric speech pathologist. While this took her away from important people, her family, her friends, her boyfriend, and was stressful, she did gain experience that ultimately enabled her to take up a full-time, secure job in speech pathology in Melbourne in 2016. Like many young people, Rebecca experienced periods of stress, partly because she felt overwhelmed by the pressures of work and study, and she had to work at keeping well. But she felt very proud of her achievements, saying that she thought she had achieved a lot for someone her age. In many ways, Rebecca is typical. She has invested in her education well into her 20s, shifted focus at least once, and made sacrifices to get work in her field of study. She is honest about the ongoing challenge of balancing study, work, relationships, and well-being. I think one of the things that Rebecca's story illustrates, as so many do, that for Generation Y, as I expect for successive generations, education is a vital key to securing future goals. So graduands, today you receive a credential, but perhaps more importantly, along the way to achieving this, you have also learned a lot about yourself and your environment, and what you are good at and what you're not good at, and how you learn best, how to juggle multiple responsibilities and priorities, and how to be well. This means valuing the people around you and being prepared to ask for help or advice. As much as your credential, these qualities will serve you well in your next steps. Whatever your paths from here, I wish you the very best. Some of you may return to this university as part of your onward educational journey, and others to other educational destinations. As alumni of the University of Melbourne, you are always welcome here. To return to the present, today is a day of celebration and a time to be justly proud of your achievements. Congratulations to our graduands and to everyone here and not here who has played a part in your success. Thank you.